Hey there, my name is Pravus, and welcome to a new management game called Prehistoric Kingdom. If you can't tell from the name, this is a new zoo management game based entirely around dinosaurs, or any other sort of prehistoric creature. The game is in early access, just released very recently, so there's a lot of work to be done in this game still, but already I can tell that it's a pretty fun game that takes extremely heavy influence from games like Planet Zoo and Jurassic World Evolutions. And that kind of makes sense to me. Like, if you're going to take influence from two games, those are the two you'd want for this particular type of title. Planet Zoo is, in my opinion, the zoo tycoon game to beat. It is one of the best out there. And of course, Jurassic World Evolutions is very fitting for the theme. But when I say heavy influence, I mean this game feels like an earlier version of Planet Zoo mixed in with Jurassic World Evolutions. It's very, very obvious, very on the nose. You'll see in a little bit. Let's go ahead and jump into a new park. And the first thing you gotta do is decide where you want to start out. I guess I'll start off in, let's say, the United Kingdom. Seems reasonable enough. We'll increase the difficulty so I only start with, let's say, 3 different types of dinosaurs. We can randomize this a little bit if we want. Try to get a couple of dinosaurs that I think are going to be compatible. Like these two, I think, can stick in the same exhibit. That could be kind of fun. We got some starting money, some science points. There's going to be storms every once in a while. That all should be fine. Let's go ahead and create our new park in the UK. And here we are in our beautiful world. And when I say it's beautiful, I'm serious. It looks pretty darn good. Like, you gotta admit, these are some nice looking Unity graphics. And the dinosaurs themselves actually look fantastic, but I'll show you how that's going to work in a little bit. When you jump into a new game, it does give you a whole bunch of different tutorials, which are pretty helpful. There is a tutorial scenario already in the game. I wouldn't say it's the most complete tutorial I've ever played, but it's there, and it does get you kind of situated to start, so that's fine. One complaint I have immediately about the game is the controls are a little bit awkward. You really have to use your mouse in order to rotate cameras and stuff. Weirdly enough, Q and E actually are elevation changes. That's a bit bizarre. And then there's a few other things when I start placing buildings that feel a little counterintuitive, but you'll get used to it pretty quickly. So the first thing we obviously want to do in this game is set up some starting exhibits, so I can show off the dinosaurs and make that sweet, sweet moolah. To that extent, we can go down here to enclosures and place down fences to get started. And by the way, can I point out this UI right here? Does this feel familiar to you? Because it should, because again, it looks and feels very, very similar to Planet Zoo. That's not a bad thing. It's just, again, it's kind of like really obvious to me. Anyway, so we'll do that. There's also some paths to set things around. We'll worry about animal care and stuff later. Another building we need very early on is going to be an animal nursery. We can have a very large one over here, or a relatively small one. I'll go for the large one just for the sake of the aesthetic if we want. But this is where you're going to be setting up a lot of your initial animals and incubating them from the DNA that you'll be harvesting across the world in order to place them in your exhibit. So we'll go ahead and place this here. Now, may I note, immediately, one little, not quite bug, but an oversight that I think is a little comical. What happened to this tree right here? Oh, look, it's just clipping right through the building. That's not supposed to be there. Yeah, when you place down buildings, it doesn't actually get rid of the foliage around it. Kind of amusing. Also, I'll note that it doesn't, like, properly flatten out the ground, so, like, the asphalt is literally just sticking out right over here. Little tiny details that I'm sure will be worked on at some point, but for now, I find it slightly amusing. Anyway, so with that down, we'll go ahead and get some dinosaurs set up. Let's go to the nursery menu. And you can see that we have 3 dinosaurs that are currently unlocked and a whole bunch that are not unlocked. We'll have to do excavations across the world later, spending some money and some time in order to get the DNA so I can start incubating them. For now, let's go for a couple little things. I want to get a Dryosaurus over here, which is happy with coastal, scrubland, and desert foliage. And I think I'll go ahead and incubate, let's say, 1 male and, let's say, just for now, 2 females. That should be sufficient. I wish I could open up the entry in the wiki for these dinosaurs, but it's not actually active right now. So again, just early access. Tis what it is. One thing I'm going to note here is what they need as far as forestry and water, as well as what kind of fence they need. And these guys need a very, very tiny fence. They're not going to try to escape pretty much at all. We can have a very low wall, very light in strength, and it will work just fine. I'd also love to toss these Psittacosaurus, however you say that, in there as well. They require a semi-similar-ish kind of forestry and water requirement. They also like coastal and desert biomes, so as long as we don't use temperate and we use these 2, we should be able to put these guys together in the same exhibit, and I think that will be fine. And they're A-okay with some fence security there too. So let's also get a couple of females there, plus let's say 1 male, at least until I know what kind of a pack composition these guys like. And we'll start with all that. All right, while those guys are incubating, I'm going to go ahead and set up some paths. and we're going to set up some basic enclosures. Now, paths are a little bit weird because all these different structures don't actually need to snap to any of your paths for some reason. I don't really think I understand why that is the case, but it does appear to be that way. Anyway, we can click on this, and then I can hit C, for example, and it's going to turn on a curved path if that's something that I would like, or we can just let it be a straight path, kind of like this. I'll do something over here, then I'll just kind of curve it around over this way, kind of like so, and straight in over here, and it kind of overlaps in a weird way, because again, it's not actually snapping. I don't even know if you need paths for your workers to actually get to anything. That gets extra confusing, by the way, when you start setting up some park facilities. For example, let's say I want to place down a medium restroom. Okay, cool. So I can see that there's supposed to be kind of like some bricks and stuff over here. They're getting clipped into the ground a little bit, and it doesn't actually snap to anything. So is this like bathroom technically accessible to people? I guess it probably is, but I can't really tell because the ground's not going anywhere and it doesn't need to have a path connected to it. Again, a little weird, but I'm hoping that they're going to improve at least at some point in the future. Let me set up some more paths and a quick enclosure, and I'll be right back. Okay, very basic enclosure is set up. We're going to let one of these dinosaurs get incubated real quick, and then I'm going to go ahead and place them inside of the exhibit like so, just so I can get a good look at what their needs are and start prepping the exhibit. Whoa! While the rest of these guys are getting incubated. So here's our dinosaur, and again, like, it looks pretty good. Like, graphically, this game is pretty on point so far. I'm really enjoying the appearance, the textures of everything. It feels pretty darn nice. But anyway, we're going to click on this animal here, and we can see a lot of different stats for them, including their welfare, health, sustenance, enrichment, and the habitat in general. Let's go ahead and start by clicking on the habitat here. We can see that the exhibit size is fine, but they don't have enough proper nature, and they're probably going to need some housing. Let's go ahead and check their habitat needs, which really just moves you over to this tab right here. So sizing, totally fine. They're not feeling crowded at all. Everything should be nice and clean, but they do want to get some different plants. They don't like temperate, but they want coastal, shrubland, and desert. Okay, and then here's their forestry and their watering needs. Let's go ahead and start by clicking on the terraforming map over here. We're going to go to vegetation. Then I'm going to select what type of vegetation we want. So let's say coastal to start. And you can select like specific types of plants, and you can have a really large paintbrush with a high density, or you can reduce the size and the density of it, or even better, just select all. And this way, you are going to have everything selected and kind of randomly being placed rather than micromanage like 16 different types of plants until you feel happy with it. It's kind of a nice way to quickly vary up some of the vegetation within your exhibit, which is pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and place down at least a few things over this way. I tend to prefer to have a fairly open exhibit as much as I can. Let's also mix in just like a little bit of desert maybe. Or can I not do that? Hang on. No, for some reason that is not allowed. I think that's because of the fact that we're in the United Kingdom. I can't actually place down any desert foliage. So looks like coastal is kind of going to be my only option for the moment. So let's just go ahead and place down at least a few more along there, maybe a little bit more along over here. Okay, that should be a pretty good amount of forestry. Then we're going to move on to water over here. Now, water I find to be a little bit awkward because you need to change the depth along here. You can have extremely deep water, or you can have very shallow water. And depending on what you do, it can kind of really mess with the terrain. You can have sudden, like, huge drop-offs and cliffs in your water over here. And also, when you place down water and the terrain just shifts down, if you have anything over it, then there's a very good chance that you're going to have things hovering in the air. And again, another little quirk of early access, so that can get a little annoying, but don't worry about it too much for now. Let's just go ahead and place down some simple calm water. We got a reasonable amount of water needs being met. I'm going to do something like this, and I'm going to reduce the size and then increase the depth and just kind of add a little bit of extra depth over here just for a tiny bit of texture to that water, but that should be more than enough. Absolutely no problem there. Okay, so your nature needs are more or less going to be met, but you're unhappy about the fact that there's any temperate trees. We'll go ahead and remove at least a couple of this foliage over there that already existed. Does that make you happier? Tiny bit. There's probably more over here. I actually don't know. Can I go to, like, tree removal and remove only temperate things? Not that I know of. I think it gets rid of literally everything. There we go. I literally erased everything in the map and just started over. Now we're set up to 100% for our nature. Perfect. All right, so now we need a few other things for our animals. We'll go to animal care, for example, here. So there are a few prefab buildings for some housing, which is probably a good idea. Let's set up How about a thatch? Ooh, that's a massive thatch shelter. I'm not sure I quite need something that big. How about just a simple wooden structure along over here? And then maybe a small one off over in this direction. Just a couple little houses, far enough away from crowds, but still visible for the most part, so people will be happy with that. So housing should be met. Then we're going to go to some feeding. Now we can place down some flat feeders, or if there were any tall herbivores like Brachiosaurus, this would be an option for you, but we don't need that. We'll go for a flat feeder. I'll place, let's say, one over here and another one over, I guess, probably over here. Then I'm going to click on these, and you should be able... Well, you have to double click, I think. There's kind of a weird thing as far as like modular groups, as far as like how you select things. It's like trying to grab a group rather than the actual item itself. And then you got to do like weird like escape maneuvers to get out of it. I don't know. This is something that desperately needs to be improved. I don't care about modular groups. I just want to change what is actually being fed here. So insects is something that I'm pretty sure people are supposed to need at some point, but we don't have that researched or something. What do you guys eat again? I think these guys, do they eat fruits or vegetables? I don't remember. I need to see that from here. Sustenance? Gosh dang it. All right, hang on. Maybe if I go over to the genetics and check again what kind of thing they are. So these guys eat plants, and then these guys eat, yes, plants. Okay, so we should be fine. These are already set to plants, so food needs are met. Then we're going to go to animal care and enrichment, and you guys liked frozen fruit blocks. We'll place one here. Plus a termite mound. Well, that actually wasn't a termite mound. This is a termite mound. Okay, we'll do something like that. Place it over here so that they have some enrichment to go. Now, a weird thing about this game, as far as I can tell, there is no such thing as park staff in order to take care of your animals. So if there's a lot of poop building up, there's a couple options. You can, one, click on the exhibit and actually just clear things out, or refill the feeders, or vaccinate the animals manually. You can micromanage absolutely everything, and it does cost money to do this, a lot of money. But for some things like poop, I don't want to have to micromanage this, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and place down some dung beetle nests. This is one thing that's different from some of the other games that I've played. We can use dung beetles to just naturally clean that stuff out. There we go. So technically speaking, we should now have a fully functioning exhibit, which is kind of nice. It looks beautiful. And once we have a few more animals ready to go, these guys are going to run free, and we're going to have some very, very happy customers. There we go. That's a full 6 dinosaurs currently running around in our exhibit. Absolutely fantastic. Hey, look, our first park guests are on the way. They're not going for the dinosaurs, they're going for the genetic lab. That makes sense. Actually, I think it's kind of funny, by the way, when these guys spawn, if you zoom in all the way over here, they just sort of appear, like right here, but because there's no texture for the stairs down here, it looks like they just sort of ascend out of the inky blackness. It's just like, I have arrived. Anyway, that's kind of funny. All right, so as these guys are going to move around, I mean, our guests are going to walk around. They're going to have good visibility, and visibility is very important in this to see all these dinosaurs, which should increase my rating. They'll give me donations, and also we should be able to charge a pretty good amount for people to even enter this park in the first place. Let's take a look at park management by clicking down over here. So ticket price is right now $1,000. Which is kind of a lot, but considering we're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars for pretty much everything, we kind of need prices this high. Also, I mean, if you're paying $1,000 to see dinosaurs from thousands of years ago, I mean, I call that a pretty good price. The miracles of modern technology. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and set up a few more guest facilities. For example, some simple fast food and stuff would be kind of nice. Maybe even a gift shop if I can find one. Now I'm going to go ahead and set up another enclosure off in this area. One thing that's a bit weird about this is, one, I'm using a slightly higher fence with low visibility, so I did set down a viewing platform, which you can get under guest facilities, and then there's attractions over here, and there's a bunch of prefabs over here, which is pretty nice, because putting together a viewing platform on my own accord could get kind of annoying pretty quickly. So I like this, though again, it's just hovering sort of in the air over here. But one thing that's weird is because this stuff doesn't snap to this as if it's part of the wall, I don't know if this is technically a complete enclosure. I had it sort of stop here, and there's kind of a glass wall already here, but nothing snapped. So I don't know if I'm even allowed to place anything over here, but we're gonna find out. Let's go to the open nursery menu here. Let's go to the Nasutoceratops. And we're going to go ahead and incubate at least a male and a female. For now, just 1 or 2 will be fine. These guys don't want very much crowding. Tropical or wetlands are the only 2 biome types we can use here. And you can see I needed stronger fences, which is one of the reasons I did some of what I did. All right, so we'll let those guys incubate. My plan is to have another exhibit set up over here with some visibility from the ground, and even better, some viewing platforms so people can hop up here and get a good look at what's going on, but the animals still get a good amount of privacy. Another thing I'll do for the guests over here is just set up some simple little viewing binoculars, which I don't think I strictly need or anything, but I mean, why not just have a few binoculars so that people can see deeply into the exhibit? I mean, that'd be kind of nice, right? Okay, we have our animals. Let's go ahead and select both of these. Release and release. There we go. All right, these guys are in place. Now, I'm betting they're very unhappy. Wow. Yes, Nigel, I understand they're also beautiful creatures. Yes, they are indeed. Let's go to that habitat and see what these guys need. Weird. They're actually acting as if they're happy with this. I don't think these are connected. I think this is technically an unenclosed exhibit. Okay, let's just go ahead and fix that real quick before anyone notices. All right, that way we don't have an issue. Perfect, we don't have an issue. You guys are properly in an exhibit now. Now they don't think they have enough forest and water. That's more what I expected. Okay. There we go. Takes care of some of the nature needs. Put in a bit of a mix of the tropical and the wetlands along with the water, so the exhibit looks good, but still maintains, for the most part, some decent visibility of the exhibits. Then let's see, what else do you guys require? As far as enrichment, you guys like frozen fruit blocks, so we'll go ahead and place one of those and clear visibility of everybody, which should meet that need. You're gonna need some feeding, so we'll go ahead and place that over here. I believe you guys are just standard herbivores, right? So that should be fine. And then you probably want some sort of a house. Let's go for a medium shelter over, I don't know, probably off in this direction. That should be okay. So does that meet all your needs? Your welfare's pretty high. Cool. Let's go ahead and click on the exhibit. We can see it's got a perfect score of 400 right here, which should get me a pretty decent star rating, so we're looking good on that. The only problem is I'm now running out of all finances, so we should be wary of that. Getting an extra dinosaur in here would probably be an okay idea. As far as like crowding and stuff, do you guys feel a little bit crowded out right now? You should be feeling good. Yeah, we can fit another dinosaur in here pretty easily. Sure, let's go ahead and incubate another one. And that increases the rating a little bit. You get more score the more dinosaurs you have in here, as long as they are happy. And it does show you what the penalties are. So the UI here, as far as like how the exhibits are going to work, is pretty nice. I do like it. But the placement of everything is still a little bit on the awkward side. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. But again, it's just early access. There's a lot of opportunity for improvement still. Whoa, what on earth? We suddenly apparently have lots of power issues. I think that's because some of my buildings technically come with, I don't know, some sort of power. It doesn't say that anything needs any power. Oh, wait, no, we do need some power here. I'm not sure what's going on with all this, to be honest. Okay, well, let's go to electricity. We can go to some utilities and then set up, I don't know, like an extra windmill or two, like over here. Will this solve some problems? The answer appears to be yes. So, okay, now we're generating power and the lights are back on. That's probably a good thing. I don't know if there's like an opportunity to maybe get like some lights in here. If we go to modular pieces, there's a lot of props in this game, like a lot, ranging from some pretty cool planters for really good decoration. Honestly, I like the decoration options in this game a lot. But what about lighting? Lamp shapes, tubes, this is all kind of weird. Can I find something to just kind of make this nicer during the nighttime? Probably. Lampposts. There we go. Let me just set up a couple of little lampposts over here so you guys can see what the heck is going on. Don't leave the park because it's dark. Don't worry, you'll see everything. At this point, I'm just placing down lamps to try and beautify things for the guests. There is like your own personal light. If you're getting lost, just hit L and boom. We've now got a light so I can see what's going on, so it's okay. But, I mean, obviously I don't want things to look terrible for people. I don't know why some of these places are not getting power anyway. I don't know how you connect all this stuff together. It's not especially obvious, but it's fine. So we have research points being generated down here. Alas, in this version of the game, I don't think that there's anything you can do with it. You can see this research tab right here, but it's currently grayed out, and I can't click on it and do, well, anything. So we're going to have some issues in this particular video just because some of these little guys right over here are going to be probably unhappy with the inability to eat insects, but I literally can't research it because it's not an option at this version of early access. So, oops, that's just how it's going to be. I can also see that things like staff are going to be an option at some point in the future, but not right now. Same with other infrastructure options, like power is obviously going to get reworked to make more sense. That's all going to be important. We can get a good sense of some other metrics, though, like, let's say, the park facilities. Presumably, if some of this stuff starts looking pretty bad, then people are going to complain. For right now, we kind of start off with an automatic default of 5 stars over here. Cleanliness is going to be an issue, but I got no staff. So what can I do? Dung beetle it? I don't think so. And then mostly, you can see like some of the animal diversity in the exhibits. This is kind of the only thing you can really do at this stage of early access. Let's take a look at the excavations, because this can at least give us something to do. We'll click on, let's say, the Morrison Formation over here. And we could find some different species of the same Dryosaurus we've already got. That could be kind of nice if you want to have a bit more diversity there. It would be kind of fun to go ahead and start unlocking some different types of dinosaurs, but for whatever reason right now, these guys are locked out. Not too sure why that is the case. Let's click on you. Is there literally anything that I can research right now? Can I do any excavations? In the tutorial, you certainly can. What about this? I'm trying to click on this and hold to unlock. There we go. Okay, yeah, we could at least unlock something over here. If I wanted to get an Archaeopteryx, or however you're supposed to say that, that would be an option for us. We spend a bit of money, hold this down, and boom, now we have this species currently unlocked. It's pretty easy to do. I was a little concerned people wouldn't be able to get up into this visibility area, but it looks like somebody found out how to do that at least. Though I'm not sure she knows how to get down. Yeah, the people wandering your park, they seem to literally just zigzag around from what I can tell. They don't actually go to anything as of yet. They just sort of bounce around on the paths. So they don't go look at the animals. They don't really make use of your shops. It's just like by having them here, you've technically met some sort of a need. I guess? Maybe? I don't know. I literally don't think I can get any more money at this point, so in the interest of this video and time, actually we can see here that we do have some shopping options. We can see we're making some money from these facilities. All right, they're using them. I just literally can't see them using them. That's kind of fun. Any way to increase my donations? Performance, lower than last quarter. Last quarter was $0, so I don't really know what you're talking about, but okay. And eventually housing and education are going to be options? Oh, that's kind of interesting. Feed prep. What, we can have people prep the dinosaur food? Dude, if I were able to go to a dinosaur exhibit, I would absolutely pay to the option to do that. That'd be kind of fun. Or have them incubate things, or sell dinosaurs to them directly. Well, that just seems wrong, frankly, but all right. Either way, I might take a loan, honestly, just so I can continue doing things for the sake of this video. Let's go ahead and start prepping another exhibit for some guys. It's a little awkward sometimes figuring out like why I can't actually incubate everything I want to. For example, I go to this nursery menu. I've unlocked a handful of dinosaurs, but so far it appears that one, I've got a different species of the same type of approximate dinosaur here. But like, where's my little feathered guys? I don't know where they went. So we got the Protoceratops instead, and you know what? They're just gonna have to be good enough. Let's release this animal in here. And as before, we'll go ahead and make sure that we are taking care of its needs. Nigel, I understand. The dinosaur is cool. You're very excited. Good for you. Hey, I do like, by the way, that from the UI, you can directly click on some things like the frozen fruit block in order to go ahead and fill this out directly. That's kind of a nice little feature, so I don't have to go hunting for it. Very cool. And boop, and there we go. We now have 3 dinosaurs wandering around. I do like the use of shorter walls plus some water over here to kind of make a little natural barrier. I think that looks kind of nice, but there we go. So how's this exhibit looking? It's got 100% welfare, and it's a total score of 300 because these little guys are only worth 1 star each, unfortunately. So it's not like this is an outstanding exhibit, but I mean, it's an option for me. Why are we out of power over here now? I don't know, but we are. I will place down windmill. Fun thing about windmill, doesn't care that there are trees around. Boom. Now we've got power. Like, I don't know really how power is supposed to work exactly in this. I feel like it's supposed to kind of have like a range, or maybe you're supposed to like group it up into modular groups, like with this right here, in order for the power to actually reach. No clue, but apparently I'm not very good at power management. Now, one problem I'm having in this exhibit is you can see that apparently dung is piling up. I mean, maybe you can't see it because, like, nothing is happening here. Turn off the day and night cycle time. I can't turn it off. All right, we're just going to have to live with that as it is. You can clean out the poop manually. Just click on this button, $40,000, boom. Very expensive to remove some poop, but there you go. I'm going to go ahead and unlock one more big dinosaur before we end this. The Torvosaurus. Big guy right over here. Requires a fairly tall, very strong fence, no problem. It is a meat eater, haven't had one of those yet. And 3 stars means we're gonna draw a lot more people into the park. So let's go ahead and get myself, let's say, at least 1 alpha male and maybe a couple of females. They don't generally want too much crowding, so maybe actually 1 of each is probably gonna be the way to go. I'm almost out of money again, by the way. Oh boy. Whoa, did you see that day-night thing happen just now? Yikes. We've got Nathan and Marley. Excellent names for dinosaurs. Doink, doink. Okay, they're very unhappy, but that's fine. Exhibit crowding. Oh, yes. Oh no! They actually like to have a lot more space than this. I assume while the game is paused, I can just safely delete some of these walls and stuff. I hope that's true. Doink, doink, doink. Don't let them escape. Actually, I kind of want to see what happens if I let them escape, but I'm not going to let them escape because I'm a responsible park manager. Okay, there we go. We got ourselves a handful of plants, so the forest and water should be taken care of. Few of the things you guys need. A blood pumpkin, by all means. Take 1 or 2 of those things over there so you can just go ahead and smash right into that and the blood will fly everywhere. It's glorious. And for animal care, of course, you guys are going to need some sort of housing. We'll place something over, I guess, this direction like so. And you're going to want to have some flat feeding. We'll place you right there. And do this weird double-click thing where I'm trying to actually access it, swap it over to meat, and there we go. Their needs should be more or less met. So your welfare's at 100%. Excellent. Let's click on the exhibit. And that's worth 600 points because every star is worth 100 per dinosaur. So total of 6 stars between 2 3-star dinosaurs gets me to a score of 600 at its optimal exhibit score. That's how the system works. Hence why if you have 1 exhibit with a whole bunch of little guys running around, that's actually worth a surprising amount in and of itself. So now we've got 14 dinosaurs in our park. It's not the prettiest park I've ever made, but I mean, it's a functional park, and I mean, it looks kind of cool. Graphically, the game is fantastic. It's definitely on the right track for some good stuff. But I mean, as I've already shown in this video, there are a few shortcomings as far as the UI, the placement, and kind of some weird doohickeys there. Also, just obviously a lot of missing features that I think are necessary before this game's going to truly be a whole lot of fun. I mean, staff is kind of an important one. Research is obviously going to be very important at some point. But if you want to jump into a very early access title, start placing down some dinosaurs and have fun with it, well, Prehistoric Kingdom is certainly going to be a game to keep your eye on, at the very least. I know that I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more content for this before I jump into a full series at some point in the future, if that's something you guys might like to see. Oh, I totally forgot about my friend the dung beetle. Let's go ahead and place a couple over there. Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you all very much for watching a quick little look at this early access version of Prehistoric Kingdom. I've got a lot of hope. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.